From the east to the west, and from the south to the north. From Los Angeles, Estrella de Los Angeles presenta a Mario Lino in a program that brings hope and family together, touching subjects that concerns the community and family in general. Today's program has education, entertainment, politics, and a little salt and pepper to your taste.
Hello, yeah, this is Mario again, otra vez. Ese Mario que no se calma, yeah. Yes, here we are, Mario. Today we're going to talk a little bit about affirmative action, the whistleblower, the Department of Injustice, Sotomayor, and the movie Sound of Freedom, and also one of the offenders, sex offenders up in Tennessee, the FBI, and Tim Scott. Let's go check it out. How are you, my friend?
Bien, bien. All good.
Here's my friend John always says, get ready in español, saludando a la gente. Let me put myself comfortable over here with the chair, raise it up a little bit because you're too high.
I can go down.
No, that's okay.
No, I'm John Briscoe, the family man. The family man. Es uno de nosotros. I'm one of you.
Pablo, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon.
All right. How's the week so far for you?
Oh, it's just very busy, as
Okay,
always.
that's good. Working, no problem with the kids, no nothing, right? Everything is beautiful?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go straight in, John. We also want to talk a little bit about health, about our kids, about the water, and see what you think about that, Pablo. So we'll save that for later on. Let's go straight into the affirmative action. What's your opinion on it?
Affirmative action is legal, 100% great and correct. Organizations should make an affirmative, hard work action to find people they would like to work in their organization that represents whatever they want, the community, the nation at large. Affirmative action means literally an extra effort to find somebody. Discriminating based on race is horrible. It's illegal. And the Supreme Court just said that is illegal, don't do it. It's a violation of the 13th and 14th Amendment. There's no such thing as good discrimination or, bad discrimination. Discrimination based on race quotas, race discrimination is wrong. We live in a country of merit. People should be judged by the content of their character and how well they perform for the job, not the color of their skin, their ethnicity, their national origin, and so on. So affirmative action was dealt with by the Supreme Court. They call it affirmative action, but they really were talking about quotas and good and bad discrimination. Quotas and good and bad discrimination are wrong and they're illegal.
All right, Pablo. Would you say that you benefit a little bit of the affirmative action when you went to college?
Not at all. No.
Not at all?
Actually, I don't. In California banned affirmative action with Proposition 13, I believe.
209. No, 209. 13 is the property tax. Proposition
Right.
209 was the
209, yes.
Don't do
that's
it.
right. So they eliminated it many, many years ago, and I think to the extent that somebody is judged on their merit alone,
Uh-huh.
I think that's the way it should be.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah.
The issue is that you still have so the Supreme Court decided on removing race as a condition of weighing who is a better candidate. So if you have two equal candidates, they have the exact same scores. One is a minority and one is not. The school would probably decide to give the person who's a minority a chance to go into the school. The problem is once they're in the school, or once they graduate, people think, this person got in because of affirmative action. And actually, Clarence Thomas benefited from affirmative action. I didn't.
Uh-huh.
But what they didn't remove is legacy.
What do you mean legacy?
Legacy
Elaborate on that.
So, for example, if I went to Harvard, the legacy enrollment means that my kids can go to Harvard too because I went there. That's legacy.
Well, that's
So
not
there-
that's
the-
not fair.
So that's a discrimination too. That's not based on merit. You have kids who, or you have people who don't really have that great grade of grades, but their parent went, and so they let them in that way. So if the Supreme Court was really looking at making it truly fair and based on merit, they should remove that too. But they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
and Pablo,
so
the numbers on legacy admissions are 70% of legacy admissions get in. Oh, and their parents tend to be big donors too, because they all went to the big name university and
That's
make
also
big
true.
bucks. And that's, yeah, the legacy admissions is an interesting conundrum. Are you familiar with the term grandfather clause, Pablo? Have you heard
Yeah,
that before?
I mean, essentially, it means that somebody can get in because of.
Well, not get in, but do you know where it came from? In the
I'm not sure, no.
in the Democrat Jim Crow after Civil War era, the white folks put in rules that said if your grandfather could read and write, then you didn't have to take any test to vote.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Called the grandfather clause. If you were a black and you wanted to not stay back and wanted to register to vote, you had to take this test, and it was a test on Shakespeare and English grammar that the kids in their crummy, lousy Jim Crow separate and not equal schools had no chance of passing. That's the grandfather clause. And the legacy admissions, in my opinion, to universities is kind of like the same thing. It's based on thin air nothing.
yeah, I think the bottom line is, as far as the court, I think they did a great thing, because they were abusing of the name, the affirmative action. I don't think they were really handling the right way. What's your say?
Yeah, I
Pablo?
mean, I don't necessarily disagree with the decision to remove the affirmative action, but then they should remove legacy. So on that sense, John and I are in agreement.
Yeah,
On,
they
both,
were.
on both points.
Yeah.
We're agreeing on legacy, and we're also agreeing on affirmative action.
Yeah,
But I still
myself.
think that I still think that the Supreme Court is very, very corrupt.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
many
we're going to
people
talk
that-
about
there's
that.
so many people in that court who are being bribed by billionaires.
Yeah,
And look, once in a while they're going to make a case that I'll agree with, but for the most part, they're only looking out for the rich people.
but you have to agree that once in a while the court does a good thing. You know what I mean? I think once in a while the court does a good thing. For example, recently, they did a court in Louisiana accused the administration of abusing their power by using Twitter, Facebook, and all the social networks. What's your opinion on that one? And as a fact that the court already scored on it. Give them 120 pages of all the crimes that they commit.
I'm not familiar with the.
Okay,
case.
well, can you elaborate so Pablo can
was-
understand us?
So nobody in government, I'm elected school board trustee for 16 years, and I hate it when people stand up at the podium and say bad, nasty, rude things about me. Not true. They can say whatever they want. Nobody in government that's elected likes that. So the U.S. government, under the cover of the U.S. government, from the agencies, from the White House, and we have their transcripts, we have the
And
records.
emails and the whole thing. yeah.
Emails, and then the Twitter released everything. They were calling up the social media outlets and telling the media outlets what they should and shouldn't broadcast. And they should take down any information about Hunter Biden's laptop. It's real. The FBI had 4 years.
Under the umbrella of disinformation, so Pablo can get it.
Yeah, and
But,
it's...
but hold on there.
Wait,
There
wait.
was a lot of disinformation. There's still a lot of disinformation.
Look,
Oh,
course
no,
there
of
is.
course,
You
yeah.
can-
But
anybody
we're
can
talking about a
dis-
specific one right now.
It's not the government's job to tell media what's disinformation or not. That's stupid. A fallout of that is that stupid idiot disinformation bureau that Biden tried to put in, where they would be the thought police and tell everybody what they could say on the air. Anyway, the judge in Louisiana on 4th of July, a holiday, issued his ruling that said the U.S. government can no longer intrude into media discourse. They can't tell newspapers, Washington Post. They can't tell CNN and MSNBC what to broadcast and
The
what not.
social networks.
And he listed
Yeah, well,
he listed all the agencies that are now prohibited from contacting those outlets to tell them what to broadcast. It was a free speech ruling. He
All right,
had-
Pablo. Go ahead, Pablo. Take it away.
Okay, well, it sounds like it could be a good decision, but they have to be careful because the government has a right to tell its own side too, right? There's always two sides to something, and if you're preventing the government from speaking, you're also infringing on the government's rights to express its opinion too.
No, the government
Just like Trump was
Pablo,
working behind the scenes, he was
fact check. There's no right of the government to have an opinion and express it in the Constitution or anywhere. It can and it does, and this judge said it can no longer do that, telling media what to say. But the government is us. The government is you and I, and it doesn't reflect me all the time, and it doesn't reflect you, and it has no capacity to have a right to speak out. It's as biased and slanted as all the others. And the government does not have a right to have odd, weird, and that it should say nothing.
Go ahead, Pablo, finish your thought.
Well, you just quoted me from 3 weeks ago where I said that. So thank you for that. But yeah, I think, like I said, sometimes they make good decisions, but sometimes it's based on it is a good decision, or sometimes it's based on helping those in power.
If you read the things that the guy listed in his decision that the government had done, you'd go, holy socks, this is horrible. Suppose it was Trump in office doing these things. I like what Biden did, but these would be horrible with Trump. No government should be doing those things, is my point. Neither Trump nor Biden should be doing those things with media. It's the media's job to run themselves, not take direction from the government. Oh, and by the way, the things that the government said, ivermectin and medications for COVID and treatments and the Hunter laptop and all those things turned out to be lies. They were wrong. They were false. They were misdirects. So,
all right, let's go to another subject, please. We all agree that the government is full of lies. You know what I mean? Now, Pablo agreed with that too. They're corrupt.
No,
Well, it depends
Pablo
on what
said
lies we're talking
he would
about.
trust government over private business.
Yeah. So now let's go to the Department of Injustice. Do you think we have equal justice right now, Pablo?
I haven't seen any real evidence of, and I don't think you should call it injustice, because right now so we've done a couple weeks about talking about this whistleblower, right? And it turns out that James Comer, who's doing this investigation, the whistleblower himself is Gal. His name is Gal.
Yeah, you're right. Gal something. He's running away right now
Yeah, but why is he running away?
because
Did
he's
you know-
been
Did
indicted.
you know that before he was a whistleblower, he was accused of being an Israeli and a Chinese spy? This is before he became a whistleblower. So this is basically his get out of jail card, which is like, hey, I got some dirt on Trump. So that's why he was running away. That's why we couldn't find him for 4 or 5 weeks.
Let me
I think
ask.
that explains a lot.
Let me ask John a question. John, did you ever discover a federal government like indicting people for intimidation in this country? Did it ever happen in other presidencies?
Using indictment to intimidate people?
To intimidate people, not to risk their lives to come in and participate in the system.
Yes, I believe, and especially in the last 5 years, that has become more and more prominent.
So you can give us a couple of examples. You know why there's the power, the system that is in power. Sometimes they are abuse of their power, and they utilize it to intimidate people, so they don't get to participate or come in and show up their faces to the Congress. That's what I'm trying to get to you, so I can get Pablo to participate. But elaborate a little bit on that.
No, the whole process of bringing a charge against a criminal charge against somebody with a grand jury, which is the indictment process, is hugely, and you have to hire a lawyer. You spend all this money. You never get your money back. Even if you win and prevail, you get nothing back. It's very expensive. Even if it doesn't intimidate the people, it puts them, it makes them vote, like that guy that was the general, not Floyd.
Michael Flynn.
Michael
They
Flynn
put him on the
broke.
street. Yeah.
And he was accused of, indicted, and then he admitted, and then he's come back and said, I was a fool. I want to take back my admission because the whole thing was wrong now in retrospect, in history. I just did it to get away because I can't afford to lose my house and my car and my bank account to pay for the lawyers to figure out how to deal with an indictment from an all-powerful federal government.
John.
Okay.
Michael Flynn, he's a bad guy. He's a double agent. Obama told Trump, he says, do not work with Michael Flynn. Michael Flynn is a bad guy. But because Trump likes to work with criminals, he is a criminal. he decided to continue to work with Flynn.
Fact check. Donald
in fact,
Trump has no criminal anything, but he could. Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Pablo.
Okay, well, but Michael Flynn. Okay, so Trump pardoned Flynn. Trump pardons a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
that
quite a few.
actually are criminals because they were indicted and it was proven in court. We're not just making things up here. They were actually proven in court that they went to court. They either pled guilty or they had so much evidence that they got jail time. And Trump pardoned them. He didn't pardon everybody though, but he pardoned quite a few people.
And
they
the
were all
strangest
criminals.
pardon was Blagojevich. Do you have any idea why he pardoned the Democrat governor of Illinois, Blagojevich?
You remember, Pablo?
Well, yes, I remember Blagojevich. Blagojevich got
that's,
caught asking for bribes.
Yeah,
because
he was going to sell Obama's seat.
He said he had connections to Obama, which wasn't true, but he's a Democrat and he thought he could take advantage of it. He got caught. He got put in jail by the Obama Justice Department.
Yes.
And
But
then,
you know what? They had evidence on this guy. There was a phone
the
call.
reason why
A phone
Trump,
call in there.
Why do you
the
think
reason why
Trump pardoned him?
Pardoned him is that so he can seem like he's not politically biased. It's a smart move. Trump is. I don't think Trump is that smart, but he can think like a criminal and he knows politics.
So he's not 150
Look,
IQ like Bill
I'm letting
Clinton.
I'm letting this guy who got caught in a political scandal, I'm letting him go and watch. He did Blagojevich first, and then he did Flynn. Smart.
Yeah. He is smart, you know. I have to say it.
He's street smart. He's not mentally smart because he says a lot of stupid things. But he's not academically smart.
I have no idea how smart he is, but he's very clever. So now, do they use an
He belongs
indictment?
to the Chicago machine politics in it. They're very strong in that area.
Blagojevich, yeah, not Donald Trump.
Yeah, but not Trump. No.
But I did see Blagojevich on TV being interviewed, and he was praising Trump. So I'm thinking that maybe Trump was thinking the long game in 2 or 3 years when I'm running for re-election, that I'll have these support pieces. And Blagojevich is not hated by all people in Illinois. He was a powerful man. He just got his finger caught in the honey jar.
Yeah, it happens. You know what I mean? It happens. I mean, you can fly a kite, you know, and get caught. That's difficult,
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
I wouldn't vote for Blagojevich.
Yeah. All right, Pablo. Now,
I think Democrats have a higher standard for our candidates. That's for sure.
I remember we talked about Clarence Thomas a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
4 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay. So now there's an email that it came out of the University of Chicago. Judge Sotomayor is going to go down there and give it a speech, introduce her book. You know, she's got a book and she's selling the book. And actually in the video says that it's going to be over 1,000 people in it. And she's going to be signing all these books. And she claims that she won't go if they don't get more books because they put in an order of 250 books.
Did you hear how much money she made over the last 4 years selling her
Come on,
books?
guys. Come on.
$3.1 million.
This is a book, okay? You cannot. You don't want her to go. Alito gives speeches. Clarence Thomas has given speeches. Everybody gives speeches, and they get paid very well. They get $100,000 a speech or something, right?
Yeah.
So your concern is that she wants at least a few hundred books.
No.
She wants to sell a few thousand to the
Clarence
school.
Clarence Thomas has received hundreds of thousands of dollars of freebies.
Of like
They
kind.
were paying for his mother's rent. Come on.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
They were paying for his mother's rent. They were paying for his son's school.
It wasn't his
private
son. It
son's
was
school.
an adopt. It was a orphan child or something. But
Well,
nonetheless,
but
there
it's
was a
his
kid
son
in the
because he's
home.
adopted. Once you adopt a kid, it's your
Okay,
son.
the bottom line, Pablo, is that both people are in.
No, that's a false equivalency,
No,
right?
no. I mean,
One standard is a guy is shooting somebody, and then another one is somebody stole a candy.
No, but what
not-
I'm trying to say is the court system, it really doesn't, it's not set up really the right way. They can get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
that's what we talked about a couple weeks back, 4 weeks ago, and John said that there is no law protecting against.
There's no
corruption.
law prohibiting or proscribing.
And I agree with that.
And there
That's
was no
true.
law
That's not right. But at the same time, why do they fill out those forms when
They
those
fill
ethics
out,
forms,
they fill out whatever they have to.
when they're just
When-
hiding, you know, like, if they were so bold about it, they should have just come out and said, you know what? I had a free airplane ride,
Well, why would they if they didn't
this
have
billionaire was
to?
paying for my mother's rent.
The airplane fare
Pay
one
for
is
my son.
interesting, and you brought that up. The law now is if you get free airfare, you have to report it. Back then, when the airfare happened, it was not required reporting. And so now we have you and the other people harping in the background. Oh, well, he didn't have to, but it would have been nice if he had reported it. Well, we don't live in a
No,
would
but
have
you know,
nice.
John, you know what in-kind gift? An in-kind gift means something of value, right? Something that has, like, they tell me, don't accept gifts over $30. You know, like if somebody buys me a cake at work or whatever, it's over $30, so I should, you know,
The
it
vendor
doesn't
brings in
seem
the
fair.
keys to the Rolls Royce in the parking lot. You have to turn your head and cough and say, no, thank you.
Yeah, so it's not, these people decide our laws, they can rewrite laws. Now, they shouldn't be doing that either, because they should be interpreting laws. They shouldn't be making new laws.
That's right. That's right. I agree with you with that. But sometimes they don't do that.
But there's
They
some
make
things.
the laws to the convenience for the communities out there, you know?
So Pablo, you're used to this Form 700, which I'm unfortunately too used to as well. But the U.S. government, I filled out the congressional form as well, and the congressional form covers more assets, but it's a lot broader and more general. If you're used to the California form, I don't think any other states or many other have a form that detailed. The Form 700 is an onerous burden and awfully deep. I found out the mayor of Huntington Beach, where I live, had to list on his Form 700 that he owned a cannabis store and he owned a cannabis farm in Reseda and Needles, California in 2021. So we got the marijuana mayor, Mr. Republican, proud and loud, and then he's the marijuana guy. And I haven't done anything with that one yet, but I'm going to. So no, those disclosure
I have no
forms.
issue with him owning marijuana stores. or
No,
anything.
it's the persona. It's not the
Right, now-
marijuana.
Now,
It's-
one thing would be for him to hide the fact that he owns those marijuana stores and then pass a law.
Well,
that-
he only owned it for 1 year, and he's never talked about it. Nobody's ever brought it up, but he had to disclose it, which is your point, on that form, so now we all know. One of our other city council members is a wife beater, actually a sister-in-law beater. He beat up his sister-in-law because of an argument over an inheritance his wife was getting, and it was a police report filed. Burns, a policeman, accused of beating up the poor sister-in-law. Those Form 700s and the other
Well,
documents.
Go ahead, Pablo.
We're deviating a little bit from the topic, but the purpose of those forms is so that we can see conflicts of interest, right? So if you're, if you own Apple stock and then all of a sudden your organization or your government or whatever is buying a whole bunch of Apple computers, that benefits you directly based on your influence.
Oh, and LAUSD can buy a lot of Apple computers if they wanted, I think.
Yeah, so that's where it doesn't affect me as a person living in that town's mayor, if he's my mayor, if he owns a cannabis store or not, unless he's passing laws making it that we have to buy his cannabis.
It's the persona, the presentation of himself.
Okay,
It's,
let's change a little bit over here.
enough marijuana talk. Okay.
Enough marijuana stuff, that's enough. Let's talk about something else that really bothers me and makes me really upset, because the system is not working for a lot of little kids out there. The kids of the world, like they say, in the movie, the kids of God, the childs of God. Pablo, have you gone to see the movie Sound of Freedom?
No, I don't think so.
I recommend you to go see it. It's really interesting, really good. And the reason I brought this up because 2 days ago they got a guy by name Camilo Hurtado Campos in Tennessee. He's been accused of abuse 78 kids.
Oh, my.
What's your opinion on this situation that is really exposed? With this movie, I want you to know that the Hollywood and even the people in the White House are really criticizing this movie really bad. They do not want to see the movie being projected, although the movie is taken over it's already over $8 billion in the first week. It's unbelievable.
I'm not sure what the movie has a connection with child abusers. I mean, child abusers have been around for a long time.
No. Well, what it is
Or even
the movie.
in the Bible, there could be some child abuse in the Bible.
No.
It's about
The
child
movie,
trafficking over the border.
The message about the movie is that this happened for many, many years. It's been going on, And the government seems to be like they don't want to have a solution for this problem that we have. And we're supposed to be the number one country as a consumers. So that's why I brought that up to you. I want you guys to discuss this.
Child sex trafficking.
Yeah, child sex trafficking.
Yeah, protecting children is
Now it's more popular than
very
ever.
important. Protecting children is very important. I think we all have to be on the lookout because there's times where it's like right under their, there's people who they're predators and they look for opportunities to abuse children. Even in the church, there's like Catholic Church, there was a lot of abuse
I agree with that. Yeah.
children. Not just the Catholic Church though. There's other places.
So how do you teach children, Pablo, to look, listen, and report?
Just so you know, Jan, I want to put this inside just before I forget. The only reason they cut this guy is because he forgot his phone at a place at the cleaners. And so they pick up the phone and discover all this film in their phone abusing of the kids. Magic?
So how do you teach children that are whatever? So he was a school football coach, so he's middle school or high school. How do you teach children what to look out for without being accused of sexualizing the children? Because it's all about.
Well, it's really hard to do when you have people up in arms over like trying to remove all the sex from schools, right? You have to make the kids know a little bit about it, but if you're just removing it completely and just saying no, it's against the Bible and all that.
No, that's not. It's against the law to have any sexual contact, and so teaching children how to have sexual contact.
No,
with books
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that kids have to know how to speak up, right?
You have to speak up, and what should they be looking for?
What's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Right. I think the key is how to teach kids to defend themselves against a predator. How to discover who wants to mess with you. That's what I think John is trying to say.
And that's a very difficult thing to do when you have, for example, this guy that just did that, right? He had 76 kids or whatever. He's a heterosexual man, I'm assuming.
We think
right?
he was messing around with boys. It wasn't girls.
Oh,
he's a pervert, is what he is.
And I told John, he's a fat guy. He's not a nice looking guy.
I'm fat, but I'm
good
looking.
He's old, and he's doing all these things.
Yeah, but so my point is, a lot of these predators are heterosexuals, but the only thing that conservatives want to do about it is they just want to do something about gays. They're saying, oh, gay this, gay that, and gays are so scary, and the bathrooms are so scary because because of transgender or whatever, that's not teaching kids how to be safe, and it's not helping because you have a lot of predators who are heterosexual. In fact, most of them, I would say 95% of the predators are heterosexual.
Well, that's because homosexuals are only 2% of the population. So if even saying 5% are not heterosexual, you've doubled the amount of homosexuality in the population group.
Right. That's
it ain't
that's
10%.
a statistical argument, but my point is that Republicans are only talking about one side of the. They're only concerned about gays.
So is it okay to have boys change? Is it okay for boys to change their clothes in the girls' locker room?
Right, they're concerned that somebody's going to go into.
Do you think it's okay?
It doesn't happen. Like, why would somebody change their sex just so they can go into the girls' locker room?
Not change their sex. They say, I identify as a girl today. I want to change my clothes over there.
Hey, John, let me get this. You know what, Pablo? This afternoon, it was a news conference that the only reason they say why somebody's changing their sex is because it's a money maker. It's a multi-million-dollar operation now. It's very close to the pharmaceuticals. Well, there's a lot of money involved in it, thrown into this LGBTQ. There's a lot of money is being thrown out for corporations out there. You will believe that? I just hear it today.
Yeah, it's $1 billion industry. But do you understand the sex change part is really a very small, tiny piece. They invert the penile tissue inside to create an artificial vagina, or they take and extend the clitoral tissue out to make an artificial penis, or something that resembles and acts kind of feels good thing. Not very many people have that done. That's a very small number. The number of boys and girls who take hormone therapy and then act and feel kind of like a girl or a boy when they're not, that's the larger group. So it's more the chemical treatment.
Yeah, but why not just give these people freedom? Why are we so concerned about what they're
Because
doing?
they're 16 years old and
they're adults.
No, they're
They're
16
adults.
years old. They're not adults. They're
I
boys
don't
and
think
girls.
that's happening like you say it is.
For the adults, it's okay, Pablo. For the little kids, it's the problem, you know?
But that's just, look, the Republicans are just trying to get you to be upset about that and to
Think so?
scare you and to get you all excited and
So
want to go
Pablo,
vote.
the middle school boy, 8th grader, says, well, I identify as a girl today. I want to dress over in the girls' locker room. Is that okay? Are you
No,
okay
and
with that?
I don't think I saw that ever happen. And actually, I have a story.
Go ahead.
I had a friend when on one of my first day of I think it was middle school, or no, it was my first day of high
Interested.
school, actually. I had a friend of mine. He was like, "Hey, let's go through here," and then and so actually we went through the girls' locker room, but I didn't know it was the girls' locker room. It was my first day.
So he says. Okay, nice catch,
No, but
Pablo.
actually, I couldn't see anything because I don't really have good. So
I'm sorry.
So I missed out, but
Okay.
committed to it. See, he didn't say, "Oh, I want to." I was identifying as a woman. He just came out straight because he got caught. He says, "Yeah, it was me," and I tricked Pablo into going in there with me. So he got in trouble, and I didn't get in trouble at all.
Oh, because you said you didn't see anything. You are good, Pablo.
Well,
And they believe you, right? They believe you right away. You go,
nobody ever asked me though. Nobody ever asked me. He came out. He came.
The boys don't belong in the girls, and the girls
That's a
don't
good
belong in the
memory.
boys.
He'll never forget that, you know?
So the solution to that one is you have a separate unisex changing area for the boys and girls that want to be something that they aren't. And that, it takes more money and work and effort. But I'm not in favor of having boys in the girls' locker room, especially in high school when they're all grown up. And it's not good. It's not right.
Hey, Pablo, let's change the conversation a little bit of it. I was listening to Tim Scott today, did an interview. I think this guy has got good ideas to become a president. Tim Scott from North Carolina. What do you think?
I'm not.
South
I
Carolina.
mean, I've seen him speak.
South Carolina.
There's
South Carolina,
nothing
I
about
believe.
him that's particularly impressive. I mean, he's not going anywhere in the Republican Party. I said that a couple weeks ago.
You don't think so? He
No, I
speaks
think
really
your top
good, really
contenders
good.
Right now, your top contenders right now are still Trump and DeSantis and Christie. Those are your top three.
Well,
right
Pablo, do you think Trump Scott sounds like Trump Scott ticket sounds like something that might happen?
Scott? How about Ramazzoni? Ramazzoni sounds good too.
Yeah, he's really he has a brain and he thinks about
That's a
stuff.
lot of money too.
So no,
Well,
that's
yeah, John is thinking ahead because usually the second tier candidates end up as VP picks later.
yeah,
So-
and they strengthen the ticket overall. So who do you think is the top second tier possible VP candidate for a Trump presidential run?
That's if
I
he
mean,
doesn't
I
get
haven't
indicted.
been following the Republican ticket that much because Trump takes so much air out. He takes so much air out of it. I've
It's
been
so true,
hearing
yeah.
Christie. I like how Christie is going after Trump. I think that that's
You
good.
said none of those people are going to be at the top. So who do you think would be a great, good pick for Trump to run with? Scott brings a whole lot of things to the party. The Nikki Hale, they all have interesting things. And Christie brings East Coast. Well, they're both from the East Coast. And Christie won a Republican governorship in New Jersey, which is unheard
I think
of.
that, like, I don't think Trump will go for this, but if Trump was at the top of the ticket, I think his best bet would go with Christie because Christie is a fire breather. He's
Christie,
really
yeah.
smart.
Yeah, because it was
True.
with,
The problem is he's going after Trump, so it's not going to work out.
Biden has guaranteed tenure with his vice president now. Nobody wants that person to be the president, so he's guaranteed to be there as long as he can stand up and not dodder too much. Could you imagine having Kamala Harris as the president?
No, I don't think so.
Would that be a
Well,
good thing with you,
Yeah,
Pablo?
it
Would you
would
like
be-
to see Kamala as the president?
I don't think Pablo either.
I've mentioned before, I'm not. that
Yeah,
much of a
he's not in
fan
favor
it.
of that,
I'm
yeah.
kind of disappointed that she could have been a better VP. But
She belongs in a
she's still
comedian.
better than-
comedian
wait,
show.
wait.
still better
She
than
fixed-
Trump, that's for sure.
Pablo, she fixed Ukraine. She fixed the border. She's a fixer. She's out there taking care of all these things. Kind of, sort
Yeah,
of.
well,
Not.
No, she just has.
but Pence didn't fix anything either, so it's.
No, but was he asked to fix anything?
Yeah, he was
asked
in
to
charge
work
of
on
COVID.
and he handled that brilliantly, right? He didn't.
He was in charge
we
of
were in
COVID.
I
Yeah.
think we were in worse shape after COVID than we were,
Yeah.
Not really.
terrible.
I think we
terrible.
talked about COVID long quite a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so yeah, that was a big joke too. And finally, let's discuss a little bit about the situation with the FBI today. You were aware of they have big hearings on the Capitol.
Well, I didn't follow today's meeting because I was very busy.
Okay.
At work.
So
But,
can you?
I know that before that, I know that there was some hearings and there's like I mentioned earlier about James Comer. It turned out that his whistleblower was just a fake.
Yeah. That's the guy that is running away, an Israel teacher from a university or something. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But this is a little different now because.
Right. I know you might be disappointed in that to know that.
No,
like,
no,
the
no,
person
I'm
who's been
okay.
chasing- the person who's been trying to throw.
I just
Hunter Biden and
to
say
me
he's like-
to me Pablo smells fishy because that's why I say I think they're trying to intimidate a guy to run away. I think that's my opinion. I can be wrong.
No,
But he's hiding because he's afraid to go
no,
to
he's
jail
not,
or
he's
something.
hiding because he's a criminal. He was
No,
already
he's
under.
hiding
he
We'll
in
was
the-
see.
already-
We'll see. You
He
know.
was already trying to run away from the law. He
Yeah,
was already-
we'll see. We'll see. But
So I
John,
was right on that one. A couple weeks ago, remember I said, well, where's the whistleblower? If you're a
Yeah.
whistleblower, you need to come out.
The
You need to know who you
was-
are.
he's
not
running
just
like
trying to-
he's running like a whistle. Hey.
No, it's let's
Do me a
go-
favor,
let's,
John.
no, let's go to Swalwell,
Uh,
having sex with Fang Fang,
man.
and now
Swalwell,
it's
yeah.
the Chinese spy. So no, this whole door swings all ways across parties.
Okay, but
and she fled.
Talk about the FBI right now, which is here today, because Paulo wasn't aware of. He didn't follow up today. They prove a lot of evidence. This guy Ray got hit in multiple locations and no answer.
No, that's
like
his answer.
like the ball was dropping the ball here and there, and there was no answer. Can you say what's the reason? He says, I can't, this and that or whatever, or it's under investigation or something. In other words, true after true
Okay.
after true, nothing comes out.
Christopher Wray was a Trump appointee.
Yes, I agree with that. That's what he said, that everything happens under
Trump said
Trump.
he hires the best people. Right? Didn't he? He said
I
he hires
can't,
the
I
best
can't
people.
win with Pablo.
It's, it's a cabal with Garland and Ray and the whole crew there, and they all have this plausible deniability.
Well, Garland should be on the Supreme Court right now. Obama.
No, he should not. Thank goodness he's not. Holy socks.
Yeah, no, good,
Obama
Pablo.
appointed him, but for a year and a half, McConnell, that sneaky McConnell, he held up that seat so that Trump can get his.
He held up the approval process, and that's his job as the head of the Senate. And Obama didn't appoint him. Obama nominated him for appointment, and then it's confirmed by the Senate. So that's important because he was
Thank you
just
for that.
one of. And candidates come and go. How about Bork? Bork was nominated,
Oh, that's the guy with the little beard here?
and was a strict constitutionalist and got ripped apart by the Democrats in the Senate. And so he withdrew his nomination because it was so brutal and they didn't have the majority to the vote thing. That was before Reid changed the rules.
I remember when they did the investigation on Clarence Thomas, and he got really upset. He says, frankly, all you guys are just lynching me or something. And then he
Yeah.
said, remember? They really got this guy down. You remember, Pablo? Probably you too young.
No, I actually do remember. I saw the tape.
Okay.
Actually, I know. See, I'm pretty young, but
But you follow the politics,
Okay.
yeah.
No, young and good looking, you say. Young and good looking. You're two mints in one. You can't help yourself.
so
Go ahead,
yeah. I
Paula.
mean, Clarence Thomas, he's all the things that he did are true because nobody's the person who accused him never took her story back, and I think Clarence Thomas' wife was recently calling him. I think like 15 years ago, she called Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas's wife called the accuser and says, "Hey, isn't it time for you to let go of that story?" And it's like, why? It was true, you know. He was putting his pubic hair on the soda. That's not lynching. That's just expressing the truth, you know. He
Well,
did those things.
It's
Why would
lynching
somebody
the
make
soda
that up?
pop. That whole story was just. Oh,
Why
then
would
plus he
somebody make
told
that
told a dirty joke about a donkey's male parts supposedly. It went on, and then the Kavanaugh one that was the first sexcapade nomination approval process, and after that Kavanaugh took it to a whole new level with 3 accusers. One who couldn't remember the date, time, or place or anything about it, except that she remembered she'd been fondled or groped or something. It's really pathetic and it's sad.
But it shows the character of the men, right?
No, if people lie about you, it shows you're surrounded by liars.
John, the person who was accusing Kavanaugh had documented cases with a therapist. All that stuff was documented. She released it, and her story was totally corroborated with them knowing each other, the therapy.
But she didn't remember the time or anything. Where it
But
happened.
that's how it works. When you're a victim of a crime, there are certain things that your mind blocks out. That's just standard psychology.
It just wipes off.
Yeah,
Well,
you have mental block of
She
certain
wasn't.
things.
She wasn't believable, to be honest.
She
with you.
remembered. Because it wasn't convenient for you. She remembered a lot of things about it, but she just didn't remember the occasion. And
Was she the one that claimed that multiple boys had sex with her?
No.
These are
that's
boys
not-
too, by the way. They're all under 18, suppose in high school or something.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Man.
Right. And now, if it was consensual, children.
Not
so again,
consensual. No, I
children-
said it was sexual. It was sex. Multiples. It was there's a name for that, and I'm not going to say it here, but it was multiple boys having sex one after the other with her. The whole story was awful.
No, they never. There was never any penetration. That the point is, he tried to.
No, this is the the train, whatever. It was, it was there were 3 different women that came forth and testified, and there was one who claimed an amazing story.
Oh, okay. All the Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett and Neil Gorsuch, all 3 of those, and I think even Clarence Thomas, they all come from the that place that that place that vets these the freedom
I think
the
it's
freedom
the Hilton.
The Heritage
or the Freedom-
Foundation, or
Freedom-
Heritage
the
Foundation.
Federalist.
No,
Okay.
not the Heritage.
The Federalist Society does the big
Federal
vetting.
Society, yes. So it's like a billionaire-funded foundation that vets these people and say, "Hey, you guys gonna vote for the
But
way I want you to vote for?"
what did they stand up for?
Why did you
They
say
stand
that?
up for
What difference?
billionaires.
Oh, okay.
That's why Trump picked him. Did you think he chose Amy Coney Barrett because she's a Christian?
No.
He
I
laid
didn't.
out
No,
the
I
10 people he would use to nominate from on the list when he was running, which nobody had
Yeah,
ever done
they
before.
filter the list for him and say, "Hey, these are all vetted. They're gonna vote for the way we want."
No, they're going to vote constitutional constructionists. They're not how you. We have no idea what cases are coming down.
Constitutional constructionists would be just going on the Constitution, not making up things as you go along to benefit
Name
corporations.
one thing that was made up
Like-
as they went along. In this
Like
last term,
giving corporations extra rights. We talked about this 8 weeks ago.
no, they're a
like,
legal person.
rights
They
that are
have,
not legal. Where does it say in the Constitution that a corporation is a person? The concept of a corporation came up later. They used to be trusts. So a corporation came up later. So why is it that these people are deciding that corporations
Okay,
are
John.
granted things that are not?
Take that and run with it.
no, the basic business 101. A corporation is a legal person that can go on beyond the time and tenure
But which
of a
amendment?
person's
Which
life.
amendment gave
So it's not.
which amendment, John? Which amendment gave the corporations extra rights that we don't have?
It's not extra rights. It's a business. It's business
Yeah, but
law.
how come
It's
they can
code.
donate more to a campaign than we can? I can only give up to $2,000 per
That's not
campaign
true.
for
You can
election.
go out and create a PAC and donate $60 million.
Exactly, the PAC. Where did
like-
the concept of the PAC come from? That was a court case that was decided by these Federalist judges.
Yeah, a political action committee. You
50
can't give
years
the money
ago,
to the
a PAC
candidate.
didn't exist. It wasn't real.
I think the PAC was a creation of Congress, and that was a way to deal with the money. No, you can create a PAC, and you can't give money. I'm a candidate for Congress.
I
You-
accept donations. You can donate to me. You don't have to be $2,000, Pablo. $200-$300. Yeah, we take donations. Yeah, it's cool. How about bringing those the water so we can have Pablo?
Oh,
give
Pablo,
us-
I hear you're a health, not just nuts, but a health nut. Is that true? Do you watch your health and take care of yourself?
Not really.
You're
no.
thin and good looking. That's more than I am. I'm fat and good looking. fat and good looking.
Look at this, Pablo.
I have a prop here I want to share with the viewing audience. So the lobbying industry for mineral additions to our water has been very successful. So all the cities in Southern California put fluoride in their water because fluoride can be ingested and it goes into the teeth of children and makes the teeth stronger. It can prevent tooth decay.
And
So
it
that's-
has actually reduced tooth decay by a lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's the devil's always in the detail, Pablo. I'm going to show you how much water a child aged 0 to 14, after 14 your teeth are all in, the business is done. 0 to 14, how much water that child has to drink every single day. You're going to be shocked. This is how much water must be, and you can't drink bottled water. There's no fluoride in this. I just use this to give a graphic example of how much water. It's 3 bottles every hour a child would have to drink every single day to ingest enough fluoride to have any benefit on the teeth. Now, I've had dental hygienists tell me that young children aged 4 to 7 and 8, learning how to brush their teeth, they end up swallowing half the toothpaste they should be spitting out, and the toothpaste is fluoridated, and so that's how they get the fluoride. To your point earlier, fluoride is a beneficial thing to do for children. You'd be better off giving your kid the fluoride pill than to nobody drinks this much water, and it's out of the tap. The child must drink this much water out of the tap every single
Yeah, I
day,
don't think
and
a
not
lot of
boiling
parents-
vegetables in it.
Go ahead,
I don't
go ahead,
think a lot
Pablo.
of parents give their kids tap water. Most people filter it.
Yeah,
But-
that's it.
but
You're
from my
just gonna.
understanding is statistically, once they started putting fluoride in the water, the incidence of tooth decay went down.
And did they
I
start
actually had a
fluoridating the
friend-
toothpaste
I had
too?
a friend who was from England, and I don't know when England started putting tap water, fluoride in their tap water, but he had terrible teeth. I was like, whoa, dude, I mean, you have really bad teeth. So I don't know.
Do you know why that in England?
I think overall the water having fluoride is a good thing.
This is
I don't believe in
absurd.
this conspiracy things about the.
And fluoride for you and me, for thee and me, over age of 16, is poison. Fluoride is a rat poison. It's not good for us to be ingesting this, and no child is drinking this much tap water every single day. And Gatorade doesn't count, and boiling your water, and
Need orange juice.
no juice in the jar counts, only water out of the tap. And so it's a useless, and it's not good for me because tap water pollutes everybody, adults and seniors. So to your point, Pablo, you're right. People filter their water, adults do. I distill the water I drink in a home
But if
distiller.
you're distilling it, if you're distilling it, you're not
That's not,
you're concentrating the chemicals. Yeah, you're killing the bacteria, but you're concentrating any trace elements that are there. So you're actually not
no,
filtering.
it's distilled.
Filtering is
It's
better.
in the, Pablo, it's in the bottom of the distiller. What comes out is pure steam, including the fluoride stays in
Oh,
too.
you have a distiller machine. Okay.
I have a
'cause
I
boiling
don't-
it in a pot. Boiling it in a pot is not going to help. But if you
No, I have a distiller machine. So this is not good, and that's from the government that you trust so much.
That's for
who's-
the government, yeah. They
who's
trust.
foisted that on
So-
us. And if
So
All
are
you-
right.
you saying that they did that in order to help the fluoride companies? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know who. Yeah, fluoride companies paid a
The
lot of money to
corp-
put
big
their
corporations.
systems in.
Hey, Pablo, let's,
no, but
let's talk a little bit about.
Nutrition. You want to go nutrition?
No,
Never mind.
no,
Nobody
no,
cares
we'll
about
save it for next
nutrition.
week.
Next week.
I want to talk about crime. Right now, it calls my attention almost every time I open up my phone and I go local, local, city where I live, where you live, Pablo.
No,
and,
Loco,
and-
L-O-C-O. You're
yeah.
crazy.
So there's too much crime, too many people getting stabbed, knives, machetes, Long Beach. What's going on, Pablo? What do you know?
I mean, crime is up everywhere. It's
But I mean, in the city of Long Beach, it used to be nice and quiet. Now there's too many stabbing. Not so much shootings, but a lot of stabbings. This morning, somebody with a machete.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So crime
Have
is
you heard
up.
about it? No, you don't, right?
Well, I think we have. I don't know if these people are homeless. I mean, I think we have a homeless problem. I spoke to by chance. I don't know why I got a chance to speak to him, but I
Well,
spoke to
it happens,
a
it
social
happens.
worker.
Uh-huh.
I spoke to a social worker who actually works with homeless, and he says that a lot of states send their homeless here to California because we help the homeless more.
They
but
take care
actually
of
it
them,
seems
yeah.
to be creating the problem, making it worse. And because California has really nice weather, so it's easy for a homeless person to live outside without shelter than as it is if somebody's in Alaska or Nevada or somewhere where it's really hot. Here they can just be outside and survive. So yeah, so obviously, I mean, people want to live here and they can survive living on the streets, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's safe, and doesn't necessarily mean that we want these people around.
Or California has the county general aid, so you go sign up for general aid, get $350 a month or whatever they pay. You string out across 4 weeks, and you can buy the food and stuff you need and live in a tent. Yeah, maybe do a little bit of tweaking on the side and sell some drugs to high school kids and make enough to buy yourself some drugs for
Open
that
up
week.
a can of sardines in there and eat it right in the shade. I've seen some people, it used to be like one little shade right off the 405 when you're coming from the 605 and getting to the 405. It was one shade. Now it's like 15 oven. They live right there on the channel. There's water, but they live in like in the ocean. You know what I mean? They're beautiful.
But it's
It goes up and down. Sometimes, like right now, I don't see that many tents. There was a time, even before the pandemic, where I would see rows and rows of tents. I think I even have pictures on my phone.
You ride the metro to work, is that correct?
I do.
So
yeah.
you look out the window at some of the
sometimes
poorest
they're
South
on there,
Central.
they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they
the
get on-
poorest parts of LA South Central is where the metro goes through.
And
So you
sometimes it's really
you would see what it
smells,
looks
right?
like.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, boys. I think we're getting ready to end the program.
Oh, no.
You remember what you said last week?
Why we're here?
Yeah.
Oh, we're here.
You remember what you said last week, Pablo?
We're here to.
What was the
That
word?
was 2 weeks ago. 'cause
2
we
weeks ago?
skipped last-
Okay, think about that, okay? So I'm going to wrap it up, and then at the end of the show, you guys say exactly what we say so that people can remember. For those of you out there, please remember to tune in the show and share the show to your friends, to your family, please. All we're doing is trying to give you a message, please. Discuss the situation about the world we're living in. Our world has consequences. We're all responsible for what's going on in the politics, in the city where we live. It's very, very important for you as a family. Get it together, discuss all the situation, your kids, where to go to school, stay on top of it. There's a lot of people out there looking out for the kids, okay?
And there's two sides to every story.
Yes, on behalf of Pablo Miramontes and John Briscoe and your server Mario Lino, we'd like to say goodbye on this program. What you say?
Es uno de nosotros, John Briscoe, the family man. I'm here to entertain, educate, and update each week on matters of public interest.
How about you, Pablo?
Thanks for the show.
I'm trying to give you the truth, please, and trying to help you out, okay? Please tune into the show. Have a blessed night.